Please subscribe before watching the movie. Welcome back to Movies Recapped. Sarah is a sweet young woman who loves her family and is pretty excited to celebrate her parents' marriage anniversary. Despite her persuasion, her sister Julie won't be able to make it that day. Even then, Julie will be sending them some flowers and Sarah is supposed to pick up the flowers that day. On the day of the anniversary, she picks up the flowers and arrives at her parents' place late at night, not finding anyone in the dining area. She goes to check on them upstairs only to find her mother stabbing her father. Her mother, before slicing up her own throat, looks at Sarah and says, "Everything is gonna be different now." Next in the same house we see Sarah lying in the bathtub with a slit wrist and blood dripping down after a failed suicide attempt. The traumatized Sarah wakes up with total memory loss next to a man named Nick claiming to be her. From him, she learns that she attempted to commit suicide, and along with the blood she lost her memories as well. He tells her that he was the first one to find her in the bathtub. Her overbearing husband wants Sarah to rest enough and gather her strength over time, and then he tells her, "Everything is gonna be different now." Even though she's living in her parents' house, she feels something off about her surroundings. She hears the grandfather clock bell ring often, but she cannot find one in the house. Even the bathtub that Nick mentioned that he found her in is not there anymore. When she asks Nick about the bathtub, he tells her that he had it removed after the incident. With time, Sarah starts regaining bits and pieces of her memories. She remembers that she had a sister, but she does not remember that her parents have passed away. However, according to Nick, her sister Julie is a selfish person who has manipulated their parents' will to take over everything and leave her with just the empty house. Now, Nick has hired a maid named Rose to take care of Sarah when he's working on his type. However, since the first encounter, Rose seems to be quite hostile towards Sarah for no reason. Sarah frequently has weird nightmares and the grotesque figures in her dream tell her to run, and when she has nightmares, Nick gives her some pills to help her relax. Sometimes she dreams of herself in the bathtub, slitting her wrist and crawling on the floor. At other times, she sees some unknown person checking on her, but weirdly, one of them seems to be just her sister. Unlike Nick's description, Julie in her subconscious mind is a caring sister who prays for Sarah's quick recovery and good health. Sarah does not feel a connection with Nick, but she has no recollection of any memories with them at all. Also, she's not come to terms with who's she, and this causes frustration in her mind. However, she wants to give themselves a chance and start fresh. Despite all the troubles in her mind, gradually, Sarah's condition is getting better. So Nick suggests that they organize a simple dinner party with their closest friends. He tells her that their friends have been concerned about her, and it'll be a good opportunity to catch up with them. One day a man introduces himself as Tom and being Julius's friend, he visits Sarah's house. Tom tells her that he's come to help her and gives her reminding her to listen to the voice in her head. But when Nick arrives, the man is nowhere to be seen. Confused about what just happened, Sarah asserts that there really was a man, but Nick gets frustrated with her for not believing in him when he says that there's no one standing in front of their door. Nick tries to reason with her that he's there to help her, and that the whole world is taking advantage of her kind heart, seeing Nick's passion for her well-being. The kind-hearted Sarah immediately apologizes. Right then Nick remembers that he has something to give Sarah and pulls out a box. It contains a beautiful red dress that she could wear to the party that afternoon. When she goes to the storage, she finds the old family photos and also the same key that the man has handed her. Right? Then the same man appears, and out of nowhere he starts strangling her. In the process, she sees the spitting image of Nick in the man. It turns out she's having a bad dream and Nick is just trying to wake. Finally, when she wakes up, she hugs Nick and once again, Sarah sees the key lying on her bedroom floor. But things get weirder with the dinner party just around the corner. A day before the dinner party, Rose disregards Sarah's opinion of the party and makes inappropriate comments about Nick, which makes Sarah angry. Infuriated with her comments, Sarah fires Rose from her job on the spot. After that, while working in the garden, she starts pulling the wee. And along with that comes a lump of disgusting bloodied root that makes her sick to the stomach. Since Sarah's not feeling well, Nick is ready to cancel the dinner party, but Sarah insists that they carry on with the plan as she doesn't want to ruin it. On the evening of the dinner, Sarah again finds a key in her drawer since she seems nervous about dinner that night. Nick comes in and offers a pill to calm her down. Then she gets dressed in a red dress and lies on the bed. But what she sees next is completely out of the Her reflection in the mirror is wearing a white dress and suddenly a girl screams on the other side of the mirror. This crazy incident scares her out of her mind. After finally calming herself down, she walks downstairs to where the guests who she does not remember are seated and things get bizarre. From this point onward, Sarah is shocked to see Rose come back to join the party. When she asks Nick, he says that Rose is there to help him cook the pork, and soon, the course of the conversation changes into cannibalism, surely a weird topic to talk about during dinner. Then Nick lets others know that cannibals describe human flesh as long pigs and that it tastes quite similar to pork. Meanwhile, Sarah sees and hears a mysterious man outside the house. She asks for another glass of drink, and that's when Rose gives her a spiked drink. As soon as she drinks that, Sarah's vision starts, and simultaneously, the man beside her puts his hand on her lap. Despite her warning, the man does not remove his hand from her, so the intoxicated Sarah stabs the fork into his hand. Now a man is stabbed with a fork and nobody among them has a concerned face. Instead, they're all laughing and cheering at this as if it's a normal night for them. Just then Nick pulls Sarah for, but the man's voice still rings in her ears. She now feels something is terribly wrong with this group of guests. Right the next second, Sarah wakes up in the bathtub, gasping for air. She then drags her bloodied body to her parents' room and sees a man with a pig mask behind her mother. Once again, she finds herself in the bathtub filled with blood, but at this time, the pig man is behind, and right in front of her is the frozen scene of dinner. The pig man tries talking to her, but she does not understand anything. He's talking about seeing that Sarah is woefully confused. The pig man removes the pig mask to reveal the face underneath, and there it's Nick. Sarah is so confused that she runs upstairs to her room, and with her, Nick follows her from behind. But before he could try anything, Tom interferes, seeing this as a chance to run away from there. Sarah grabs the key from her drawer. Now as she opens the door with that key to add to her confusion, she enters a completely dark room. Everything is engulfed in darkness with just a light source calling her towards it. She feels as if she's surrounded by demons, unable to handle the mania. She runs for her life and reaches a room filled with books. There she sees two books, one with Rose's name on it and the other with her. As she checks on it, the only thing that's written in the book with her name on it is Apple typewritten, just like the one Nick used to work in. However, the book vanishes from her sight when she focuses on the voice calling her. Just then Nick appears behind her and she sees Tom just below the window. Nick then tells her that the voice in her head led the razors to her wrist, whereas Tom shouts that Nick is lying. But Nick is relentless in trying to win her back. At that moment, she sees the scene of her mother stabbing her father, but now she sees the pig man guiding her mother from behind to kill her father before leading to a knife in her own throat. At the same time, Tom throws holy water in Nick's face, and upon contact with his skin, it starts burning his face. Seeing this happen right in front of her eyes, Sarah no longer could put her faith in Nick. Then without any second thought, she plunges outside the. Just then Sarah wakes up tied to the bed and is surrounded by three people. Tom is reading the spells and spraying the holy water on her while Julia is crying at the top of her lungs for it to take her instead of her sister. After a few minutes of struggle, Tom concludes that it's all over. After confirming Sarah's vitals to be stable, the doctor leaves. Tom enlightens the girls that once a demon exits it leaves behind a void that takes time to go away still. He reminds Sarah to be cautious and asks Julie to watch over her sister at all times. After everything comes to an end, Julie sees off Tom and returns back to Sarah and gives her a pill. Julie sits in front of her and tells her that she's the one who found her in the bathtub. She tells Sarah that she's there for her whenever When Julia says everything is going to be alright, suddenly Sarah is reminded of Nick, and why not Julie gives off the same vibe as Nick and the same suspicious pill. She also remembers Julie screaming and pleading to take her instead. And as the movie comes to an end, Julie says, "Everything's gonna be different now." Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.